Hi guys, I'm Rachel. As you can tell, Jared's not here today. He's speaking in New Orleans to an awesome group of people. So I'll be taking over and moderating our wonderful Q&A that we're having today with our JJE coaches. So on today's call, we have Sean, Donna, Carol, Tara, Christy, Owen, and Mark. We've got a great group, and we are ready for your questions. So we're going to start right from the top, and we'll let people chime in as they see fit. So the first question we have is from Amelia. She says, I'm overwhelmed with phone calls from my lead system and have been reading a lot of posts about ISAs. What exactly can they do for you? What things are you comfortable turning over for them? Any ideas, pros, cons, companies that we work with, or otherwise good experiences to share?
Who wants to take that?
Yeah, you want one of us to just grab it?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Thanks, everybody. Anyways, it's a great question. A lot of issues that folks having the same problem with. I would tell you one outstanding thing is if you're getting that many responses to your marketing, then congratulations off the top for that. That's one hurdle that I think a lot are trying to get to have a problem with. They'd love to have that problem. So to answer your question, I mean, it really depends on your setup, and I really wish we were able to have that person kind of chime in a little bit as we go, but it really depends on their setup. And if they're a single agent, if they have an assistant, if it's just, if they have a team, how all that's set up. So on follow-up, the question was on follow-up and inside sales, right?
Yep.
So on follow-up and inside sales, there's a couple different options to go. You can do an inside salesperson in your office. A lot of the brand new agents that start with me start with making inside sales calls. They start previewing homes, all that kind of good stuff before they really step into the role. Another option is to use my outdesk. I'm using my outdesk. We also have some folks here in the office. You've got to tweak it a little bit. It's not a done-for-you out-of-the-box system, but they're very qualified folks, and as long as you hire correctly and you're doing the DISC profile test and making sure that you're getting the right personality person, looking over the resume like you would if somebody was being hired here in the office. They're a great resource. Using Google Hangout like we do here, or using Skype, or however you'd prefer, is an easy way to be able to reach those folks. There are other inside sales options out there for you, but what I would tell you is if you have that many leads coming in, you probably need a buyer agent or two. And I would tell you, without spending a whole lot of money up front, the cheapest route is to go ahead and let your buyer agent start making the inside sales calls. If they're only doing 4 to 5, 6 deals a month, they very easily could handle 50 to 60 leads a month on follow-up to take care of that for you.
Okay. So we'll move on to our next question unless anybody else has...
Need a buyer agent or two. And I would tell you, without spending a whole lot of money up front, the cheapest route is to go ahead and let your buyer agent start. I sound pretty good, but I'm not talking. If they're only doing 4 to 5, 6 deals a month, they very easily can handle 50 to 60 leads a month on follow-up to... Rachel, are you playing that back for us? Was it that good?
Yeah, no, I don't know what I clicked on. I'm sorry. Okay. So we'll move on to our next question unless anybody else has...
A buyer agent or two.
Why is
And I would tell you, without spending a whole lot of money up front,
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, a little bit.
I always tell people, look, focus on the direct income producing activities. So if there's anything that you think you can outsource to either an assistant or a virtual assistant, get it off your plate and focus on what's going to make you money. And what's going to make you money is setting appointments, prospecting, really, really just prospecting. I mean, I've said it before, I'm kind of like known for it, but that's what's really gonna get you to that next level. So people are actually hiring virtual assistants to do their prospecting for them, which is like a whole totally different level. But anything that you can get off your plate and delegate to somebody else to allow you to spend more time, which is going to put dollars in your pocket, do it.
Let me
I
just
agree.
tag
It's
on to
all
that.
about
I
the money.
agree.
It's all about the money out.
Right, but also I think it's important when you hire an ISA that you actually make them feel like you're part of that they're part of your team. It's real easy to outsource the work and not treat them like a team member like you would a buyer agent. And I think you have to have constant contact and reinforcement and positive interaction with your ISA so they feel like they are part of your team.
It'll be a direct reflection of you. So, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So, you're going to have to train that person as if, whether virtual assistant, ISA, somebody sitting next to you, whatever the case, you're going to have to spend some time with that person and train them to be like you. I always say, like, I want to clone myself. The person that's going to sit next to me, I want to be just like me, have the same goals, same vision, same work ethic. And, that takes time and dedication from both you and the person on the other end.
And I can't push the personality portion enough. I can't tell you how many times I made this mistake and other people as well. You can't put somebody who has the personality that would be outstanding sitting behind the desk doing data entry and expect for them to be outstanding doing inside sales. They're going to get hung up on. They're going to get yelled at. People are going to be rude to them. You've got to make sure they have the right personality. You have to.
Rachel, do we have any more?
Any more questions, Rachel?
I think she's saying that something's going on with her computer.
Yeah.
So she said, what marketing options out there would give you the most bang for your buck? Does anybody want to take that one?
I'll let somebody else talk because I think I have some feedback going on, but I am Facebook diehard all the way because you can spend $5, $10 and now you can, pack people into an open house, or you can actually get a response from someone who's thinking of selling their house. And I'd rather spend time all day long with someone that's thinking of selling than out there looking to figure out who's trying to sell. I'm all about Facebook.
I agree. Totally agree.
I agree.
Yeah, Facebook is a very good investment.
Go ahead, Carol.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was just going to take it off of that. I'm looking at some of the things Rachel posted up here because she is apparently having a problem. What suggestions do you have for an agent who is just starting out or one without a ton of funds to help them grow their business? Having been in that situation, I can tell you, I personally found when I started out, the best things, I went after expireds. I did not have a sphere of influence where I was. I had moved, and I had a very good mentor at the time who told me, which seemed to be, and I still believe this to be true, you have a pool of opportunity in an expired. That's an individual who has wanted to sell their house and they have been unsuccessful in the past. Go after your expireds, go after your FSBOs. Your expireds know that they want to sell. If you present a good CMA, if you present yourself, and it's key for follow-up. You tell them you're going to call, you tell them you're going to be in touch, you must do it. And I always recommend you do not leave a message, you talk to them. Do not worry about the do not call list. That does not apply if they have been on the market to sell their home. They're also grateful, I find more often than not, that someone has taken the initiative to go forward and contact them. You don't need money, you just need time. You need to prospect, 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 prospect. That is your paramount opportunity and your paramount effort that you need to do. And I know that what I used to do is I had a big sign up in front of my desk that said, how many calls have you made today? How many appointments have you set? So to me, in a nutshell, that's the best place to get started with no money. It's a time investment. Facebook would also be a good opportunity with a minimal amount of investment. Something that anyone can afford. You can put in $10 a day or $10 for the campaign, as we've discussed, and there is information that's up on the Facebook site. FSBOs, again, another one. Most people who are trying to sell their home think they can do it without an agent. They realize, hopefully, that they've been stood up, they don't have it right, they don't know the ins and outs. So I would personally go after those two to start my business off the ground, as well as a drip campaign once you get it going. Anyone else?
Yeah, let me tag on to that, Carol, because I think the Payday campaign with Jared is just
Yes.
brilliant. And I think
Yes.
that really opens doors. And
Yes.
here's a great way to do it. You can go to a UPS box or a FedEx box, and you can grab, and I was just looking, I don't have one handy, one of the envelopes. And if you put the seller's name and address and then put inside the Payday letter and the Payday candy bar and leave it on their doorstep, they're going to open it. Who doesn't open a FedEx or UPS envelope? I'm not saying pay for it. I'm just saying leave it on their doorstep. They'll open it. The other good, easy trick to do that doesn't cost any money is when you meet with them, get their cell phone. You can do the follow-up by sending a text to their cell phone. You can do a quick video. Take a video of yourself. Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. It was so wonderful meeting you. I look forward to following up in another 2 weeks. Hopefully you'll sell your house. Send the video off via text to the person. You're going to knock their socks off, and it doesn't.
Yes, I also follow up with a letter after I make a phone call, unless I've set the appointment right away. Remember, when you contact them, you are not selling the house. You are only trying to get an appointment and get in front of them. That is the key. You make the sale when you see them. You want the appointment to talk to them. That's all the goal is. And I think if they're traveling or whatever, send a letter confirming the call and then follow up. And the Payday campaign is excellent. Absolutely.
It really is. It really is. And the FedEx envelopes and the UPS envelopes for free, perfect. Absolutely. It works. Everybody will open that.
And also talk to the people when a house has been sold or listed in the area. That's another good prospecting area with the Payday campaign.
I think one other thing to add to this, both of those are awesome ideas. You remember Jared talks a lot about the Core 100. And the Core 100, if you're starting out in the business and funds are low and you're trying to generate some traction for you, is to get on the phone and start creating your Core 100. Get on the phone with vendors, go through the script, ask them questions, make sure that they're willing to do reciprocal business back and forth with you, right? And as you create more vendors into your system and bring them in, then opportunities will come. So Jared talks about the hour of power. Part of that time should be calling our SOI and staying in touch. The quickest way to lose people in your SOI is to call them and bombard them with questions about who do they know wanting to buy or sell real estate, right? But if we have something to offer that's true value, like a plumber, like an electrician, like somebody in our Core 100 that can offer true value to them, then we're there to facilitate bringing somebody to the party to help them with maybe a roof or whatever they're in need of. If they're not in need of anything at that time, then you're still bringing value to the table to help them. And Jared attributes the Core 100 to a major part of his success as an agent, so I think that's another thing you can do.
As a new person also, I think that the whole realty resource is a very, very good strategy to use. It's very inexpensive, and when you're new and you don't have listings, the way you can use Cole is to look at a street or a neighborhood that you would like to have listings and start communicating with the various campaigns that we have on our dashboard. And I think that's a very easy way to start getting recognized by that area that you want to do business. For example, when there is a new house on the market, you let the neighborhood know, hey, there's a new colonial on the market for $559. I'll let you know when it goes under contract, and then you let them know when it goes, when it actually sells, because it gives you a lot of reach out opportunities that are absolutely free, and it gives you an opportunity to create a rapport with particularly the neighborhood that you want. So I would suggest to investigate Cole Realty Resource as well.
I would just remind everyone as well, I mean, one thing that we didn't talk about was open houses. When you're a brand new agent, when I first started out, that was one of the biggest things that I had to do. I didn't have any listings. I hadn't built my sphere of influence yet. I had one, but I hadn't put it together. I hadn't finished out the Core 100 yet. I didn't have the money to pay for leads. I didn't have the money to do any of the Facebook ads or the mail outs right then. And so I just simply went in my office and offered every single Saturday and every single Sunday if anyone had any open houses that I could hold for them. And listing agents would love to have other agents hold their homes open for them. So I would do 2 on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And that's just how I did it. I would always pick up a buyer, and almost every time I picked up a buyer, they had to sell their house as well. And so I picked up a buyer and a seller almost every single weekend, but that's because I was doing 4 open houses a weekend. Now that's tough, but if you don't have a lot of money getting started and you don't have your sphere of influence built up, which you have to do immediately, and no matter where you are, if you're brand new to the area, I guarantee you have a sphere of influence. You know people. Even if it's 10 people, you know people. But the Core 100, immediately start building it up, just like you guys were saying. But the open houses were huge for me because they didn't cost me a penny. Took a lot of time, but it didn't cost me a penny.
I'm looking on the side. I see someone asked a question about how many times to follow up on an expired. It frequently can take 8 to 10 to 12 touches before you get a response. Expireds, I find, are usually a little more agreeable because they have tried to sell their house. And I can tell you that when they say they're listing with the agent who had had it before, a very good comeback, and you never ever want to disparage another agent. A very good comeback is, I can understand that, but you might want to see the opportunities and what I can bring to the table. Again, you only want to get in front, and you touch and you touch and you touch, expired or whatever it is, until you have absolutely had the door shut and there's no going in.
And that's what most people walk after. On that.
Rachel, do you have another question?
Yep. So one of the other questions we have is, what is the best thing to say, or what's the best way to reply to a partial lead?
So I'll take this one. So what I do with my partials, I went and got some postcards made. Let me see if I can grab one. You know what? After I give my whole little spiel, I'll go grab one for you. I do have one right here. But anyway, I got little postcards made, and in the beginning, I was mailing those out to every single partial lead. It was kind of like a screenshot of my landing page, and where the wording was is how much are your home values worth. Instead of that, I changed it to, hey, you forgot to type in your information, or something silly like that. And on the back, it was just a little write-up about me. Hey, you forgot to go back to or you forgot to fill in your information. Here's how you get back to the landing page, which was great in the beginning. And I didn't get any responses from those. I spent money on them. I still send them out. But the best response that I've had so far is actually doing like a simple CMA on these houses. First thing you got to do is you have to make sure, get the owner's information, tax information. If you have like an owner's name from some of the partial leads or something like that, then just make sure they own the house, because somebody might just be typing in an address on one of your landing pages for some random house for whatever reason. They might think they want to buy it or something. Or but you do a simple CMA on it. Again, taking Tara's idea, putting it in a FedEx envelope, leaving it at their front door. They're gonna open it. You put a little letter. Sorry I missed you. Forgot to fill in your information. Again, trying to direct them back to the landing page, or a call to action. Hey, now's the time to sell, or whatever the case is, or invite me in. The key with it is you want to give such like a broad range, like somewhere. If you think a house is worth $500,000, give them a range between $450 and $550. And in that letter is, hey, this is a broad range. As I do not know the unique features of your home, please invite me in to give you more of a pinpoint number, more of an exact number. And I've gotten 2 listing appointments off dropping those FedEx envelopes off since September. So that's what I do. Everybody else is on mute.
Yeah, I need to unmute before I do that. Actually, following up on what you said, Sean, what I do is I send out a mini RPR report, And then from there, what I send is a follow-up letter that says, give me 5. And it says, give me 5 minutes, and I can give you a much more accurate picture of your home. Basically, and call me, let's make an appointment. 5 minutes of your time is your only commitment. I'll come in, and then I can see what's unique about your home and what that more accurate price is. Your whole goal is get in the door. It's
Right.
not to do anything else but get your foot in the door.
Yeah, I believe that the terminology in my letter is 5-minute on-site evaluation. You don't use market analysis, don't use CMA, because those are so they're so cliche in the market and all that stuff. But yeah, the 5-minute on-site evaluation is different than what everybody else is saying. It differentiates you from the next person that might try to get in the door for whatever reason.
Right. And then the other thing that I do is I mail it in a 6x9 envelope that I have printed with a Give Me 5 logo on the front. And I printed up on nice heavy stock paper. And the 6x9 really stands out because it doesn't look like a business size envelope, and it still mails with the same size stamp, so it doesn't cost you anything more to do it that way.
As an adjunct to all of that, one of the things that we get this question sometimes, I would recommend, and I think everyone would concur, that you do not put your office on there. You put your name, you can use your office address. You do not want that envelope to look like it's coming from a realtor.
Absolutely.
Correct. That's why I use the FedEx envelope, either the FedEx envelope or just a brown envelope with their name written on it in magic marker.
And also, I think one of the things, and I'm just going to throw this in, RPR is not available to everyone. State of Connecticut, we do not have it. What that is, for those who don't know, it's an app for the iPhone. It's a very good app, and the market evaluation, I believe, is like a mini CMA. Correct me on that, Owen, and maybe if I'm wrong, or maybe give some more information to what it is for those who don't have it.
They have an app also, but it's also a desktop application. You put the property address in. They work best if your MLS participates. Otherwise, it's really no better than a Zillow thing. And I think even if your MLS doesn't participate, it still pulls data similar to what Zillow will do, but not as accurate. So you can still go to it's something offered by the Realtor Association. You've already probably paying for it. Go try it out. Try it on some addresses see how it works in your market area. And it's like anything else. If you have a nice, neat area where you have a subdivision, all the same kind of houses, it works great. If you're in a rural area, forget it.
Yeah, here in Maryland, we have RPR as part of our MLS, and it works beautifully. Question, Rachel?
Alrighty, so we just got one in from someone who said off of the Payday campaign, because I'm curious what your numbers are in terms of success, I'm guessing. Says, I'm using it and would like a comparison. So is anybody having any great success with the Payday campaign?
A lot of my coaching students have had very good success with it. I would say at least 50% of what they've put out has come back to them at the very least in an appointment. I don't know about anyone else.
You got to remember is that everyone who's out, you got to remember all your competition is doing the same thing, right? They're all doing the letters. Some of them not as good as we are, right? They may be using just the generic, office letterhead type of stuff, which most of those are going to get thrown in the trash before they're even opened. A lot of them are doing the cheesy looking, terrible postcards that, they ran them through their printer there in the office. They're doing all of this stuff that people, we go on expired listing appointments and we sit down and there's a stack, literally a stack of postcards and letters and everything else that folks have gotten, but no one gets the Payday campaigns. No one gets the FedEx, like Tara was saying. No one gets the whatever the other one is, the UPS or whatever it is, the priority mail. And so you got to think outside the box. This kind of stuff is huge, and it makes your response rates go through the roof. And just like Carol was saying, I don't know anybody who's not having success with it. Yeah, Rachel just said wedding invitations. They're huge. And that's the kind of stuff that is making people actually open and set appointments with you. They're not, they've already, if they're an expired listing, they've already gone through a bad agent or an agent who wasn't able to sell their house. So they get something else in the mail or something else delivered to their house, which is completely different than everybody else. Of course, they're going to give you a call and let you come into their house. And Christine, you said you had some stuff to say as well. You're muted.
No, I was just saying that it would be a good idea to maybe explain maybe a little bit of the difference between the I Do campaign and the Payday. Have you used either one, Mark, or what are you consulting to that?
Yep. So we do both, and it depends on who it's going to be going to. Like one thing that we target to, and Rachel also wanted me to tell everybody about the dashboard. All of this is accessible on the dashboard. There's recorded calls that Jared had done in the past, all of the documents they can download, all of that's there. But it really depends on who we're going to target. It depends on if it's an out-of-state, non-owner occupied home. It depends on if it's a for sale by owner, an expired, the price range of the expired. If we're going after, if your average home is $200,000 and you're going after a $500 or $700 or $1 million listing, you're going to have to target it a little bit different. But yeah, we use every single one of these. Is there anything else for us, Rachel?
Yep. So
As somebody, sorry, really quick, just an aside here. That as somebody mentioned, you can access all that stuff on the virtual coaching dashboard. Payday campaign, I Do campaign.
So we have an interesting question here from Kathy Gertz, and she says, do you have any feedback on how to get leads from LinkedIn? I know that it's not probably the most common tool everybody uses here, but has anybody worked with LinkedIn, gotten leads that way, or is it something perhaps not worth investing too much time in?
I don't think it's worth investing too much time in. Tommy, at the mastermind, we were just at, Jared talked about the LinkedIn. Do you remember he was saying something about it? I don't remember exactly what he said, but I don't know anybody who's using LinkedIn, and maybe I'm completely wrong here, that's getting a massive amount of buyer-seller leads. Now, if you're trying to use LinkedIn to be able to hire people onto your team, bring agents on your team, inside sales folks, office manager, an assistant, something like that, it's outstanding. And being able to link up with people to get their data, like their contact information, be able to communicate with them back and forth, trying to find people who's, one thing, like you get a partial number, like somebody asked a minute ago about partial leads. You get a partial number or a partial lead with a phone number, plug that phone number into Facebook, it pulls up their entire profile if they've linked their cell phone to their profile. You have all their information there, and that way you can actually target them directly. But I don't know anybody that's doing outstanding with LinkedIn. Tommy, do you?
Yeah, Mark, I don't remember Jared mentioning that, to be honest with you, but I agree with you. I think it's a great tool if you're looking to hire and to connect with other people in business. But just like Tara was saying, right now it's Facebook. Right now that's where things are at. And who knows, maybe in a year or two from now we'll be talking about LinkedIn and how great it is to get leads. But I'm not aware of anybody that's really doing well with LinkedIn or doing much at all with LinkedIn in terms of generating leads.
I just got pinged by one of my students here that says she's using LinkedIn for her Core 100, which is a phenomenal idea.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's very B2B, business to business, and if you use it in that sense, yeah, I think you can do a lot with it.
Yeah.
I think the real benefit today, the Core 100 is a great idea and definitely worth using. But I think having the LinkedIn profile that's professional and up to date is very important, because your clients are going to Google you, they're going to look for you on Facebook, they're going to look for you on LinkedIn, and I think just having a very consistent image on social media is probably a very, very important aspect of putting it all together. And so at this point, I think that's probably the best thing you can do, is to go on LinkedIn and other sites like that and make sure that you are seen, so when you are getting Googled, people know who you are.
With the Core 100, I'm finding a lot of people are using it for the outreach, but very few are following it up after the first week or month or whatever. And it's very important that you stay in very close contact with these people and not just reach out one time and then forget about them.
Yeah,
They actually become part of your core. That's why it's called a Core 100.
I mean, we do quarterly meetings with them. We have everybody that's on our Core 100 come in. I mean, they're partners. We're partners in business now. So they come into the office, or we'll meet for lunch. I mean, yeah, like you were saying, absolutely, you've got to keep them all involved.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to a really fun question for you guys. What are you doing differently this year that you didn't do last year?
Well, I'm coaching a lot of folks this year that I wasn't doing last year. Gosh, I mean, this is I can tell you what we're doing different, but everybody's going to be at different levels. We've really revamped what we're doing. We've dropped a lot of a very expensive ad buys and very expensive. I don't really want to say their names. I don't think it's probably a good idea to say the business's names, but we've dropped a lot of people who we were buying leads from, where we've found that we can get them from Facebook a lot cheaper. We can get them through direct marketing a lot cheaper. We're using the Cole Realty resource a lot more than we used to. I've brought on more inside salespeople. We've hired our ninth agent now, so buyer agent on the team. So, I mean, we're ramping it up. You know, they say make the hay while the sun shines, right? And so, I think we've got several more years of a very good market, and we're rocking and rolling through it as much as we can. But the big change that we made, that I think a lot of people make the mistake when they get into the market and start as a realtor, is we just start spending money on everything. Every new idea that comes across, we start spending more money on it. And so what we've started to do now is really take everything into account of our return on investment, what the ROI is, and you give it 3 to 6 months, and if there's no ROI and no return on investment, we're dropping it. We're not spending the money and wasting our time on stuff now. We're moving pretty quick.
I think something I'm doing more is definitely Facebook ads. You know, Facebook ads is something that whoever's doing it and doing it really the right way is having a lot of success with it. And Mark, you remember this from the mastermind that Jared and Chris made the comment that who knows where we'll be 2 years from now. We'll probably be talking about some random app or something that's generating a lot of business for us. But for right now, Facebook ads is where it's at. And that's not the only source, of course, but that's one of the bigger ones. And so to utilize the tools that are out there, Jared's marketing, listings to leads, and others that are out there, that's where it's at right now. And I've been utilizing those more and more over the last probably 6 to 8 months, and I've had success from it. So.
Yeah, I think social media is absolutely the way to go right now. That's where we're getting all of our leads.
Yep. Owen.
Where you get your leads from, but what's really, really key is the follow-up. You got to follow up, or that lead is useless to you.
Totally agree.
You're right, Owen.
I'd say my big change this year is more automation. I'm really working on the follow-up being more automated with drip campaigns and letting other people run my Facebook ads so I can be doing what I do best, which is the face-to-face interaction.
I think what I'm doing is I'm doing social media. I'm doing the marketing through Facebook, which I find to be very good. L to L I like because that gives me a very easy place to see what's going on. And of course coaching, which I'm having a great time. I enjoy helping people move forward in their careers. So, and making sure you do contact and follow up is key.
All right. Looks like we got one last question here, and the question is suggestions for marketing to the over 55 crowd. And really, that's an ideal thing for Facebook because a lot of your younger people aren't on Facebook. A lot of your older people are on Facebook. Your moms, your grandmoms, they're all on Facebook now. So that's a great place to catch them. And if you run ads to target them, whether they're downsizing or right-sizing or, just that's usually what you find because they have the big family. you can target in the Facebook demographics to specifically target people 55 and older, and it's a great way to be right out in front of that crowd and market straight to them with your message. Anybody else got any ideas?
Direct mailing also works well, in that demographic as well. The 55 and older crowd is used to getting the mailers. They're used to getting the letters. They're used to seeing people in the newspapers. We have a lot of 55 and older communities here. If you could do a mailer piece to a specific community, that would be phenomenal. There's a lot of turnover in those communities. There's always a lot of stuff on for sale. So going into our letter library and getting the new listing prospecting letter, it's that letter is worth its weight in gold. That's a good one to send out. And that new listing prospecting letter, just to jump to that for a second. I mean, I've sent out, just in the past month, I sent out about 160 of those letters. I've gotten 3 listing appointments from it. Those letters are golden, and the key with those letters, again, you download it right in our dashboard. But the key to those letters: do not put it on letterhead, do not modify it much. Stick your business card in there. Do not send it out in a company envelope. Send it out in a regular plain white envelope, or a off-size envelope, and those things work. I would really, for a 55 and over community or something, to that nature, those letters are golden.
Well, and if I can, let me tap on. If you're doing a whole community, and I'm going to pitch to Owen here, why not do like Every Door Direct, where you can get the price down to 17 cents a piece. You can mail out a whole 8.5 by 11. The letter would be on this side. Market stats could be on this side. You can mail it for 17 cents to a whole carrier route. Owen, I'll let you run with that one.
Okay. Well, I'm a big fan of what's called the Every Door Direct Mail, or EDDM. The thing that works on that is it's postcards. Okay, I use the jumbos, the 6 1/4 by 9s. You can also use the 8.5 by 11s, but they're big, and so they get seen. They don't get thrown out. There's nothing to open. And the best part is you give a bundle to the postal carrier. They deliver one to every residential mailbox on the route for 17 cents a piece. My 6 by 9 cards I print for about 21 cents a piece. So you're out the door delivered for less than the price of a first-class stamp. So it's really, really a great way to hit up a subdivision, and usually around the subdivision too. So it's a very, very good cost-effective tool. You can go on to the Postal Service website and just in their search bar just put EDDM, and it will tell you more about the program. But it's a really, really cost-effective way to reach a lot of people.
All right, well, that looks to be the end of our questions. So thank you all so much for attending and coming, especially to our coaches. Hopefully we'll be doing more of these in the future. So be sure to send in your questions and thoughts and feedback. And otherwise, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
All right, goodbye. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thanks for having us.